Hello and welcome to this very different edition of Dear Love Talk. We have our friend the troll just there at the back. As you can see him, he's peeking through the garden. And we have two questions to answer. I've got a feeling we're going to be using the whip in both.
Really?
Yes. Let's start with the first one. It says, I've been married for 10 years and my husband has been cheating on me for 4.
Wow.
He says he loves me and that he will leave his lover, but until now, nothing. I can't take this situation anymore. So let's go ahead and use the whip.
Oh,
3,
yeah.
2, 1.
There,
Right.
there you have it.
Let me just clarify something. I know that a lot of love songs say the opposite, but you cannot love 2 people at the same time. You can love 2 things at the same time, 10 things at the same time. I love steak and I love chicken, right? But you cannot love 2 people. You can love 2 people of your family at the same time, but certainly not romantically. So I think perhaps the reason why this hasn't changed yet is because you've learned to tolerate it. You've learned to say, that's okay. I'm not going to do much about this. I can just tell him that I'm not happy, but we'll see how far we can take this. And until the moment that you say to your husband that there has to be a decision, that he needs to make a call, whether it's either you or her, then the situation will carry on. So it's really down to you to decide to change the situation.
Yeah, and I'm very glad to hear that you've decided to do something about it, because he's been cheating on you for 4 years, you've been married for 10, and I think it's about time that you make, you create something, you talk to him about this, you confront him about the situation. I mean, she didn't mention if there are children involved, I mean, if they have kids together. But even if you do, you have to choose what's best for you and for your children, because your children, like we often say, they will grow up to think that it's okay to cheat. And it's not okay.
Let's just say as well that the most important thing here is self-worth. You know, a lot of the reasons why people sometimes take situations like this is because they forget about their own value.
Yeah, they're afraid to be alone.
Yes, and if you know what you're worth, if you know what your value is, then your value does not depend on someone telling you that you are special or not. You have to know how special you are, how valuable you are. And if you've reached a point in the relationship where you feel betrayed, where you feel used, sometimes a new chapter can be daunting, a new chapter can be, you can become quite afraid to start again, but sometimes it's the best option.
Oops. There's a spider crawling.
That's what happens when you're
All right.
in the middle of nature. So let's go for the second question.
Okay, and it says, I found a pornographic content in my partner's phone. The little love I had for him left, and it actually seems that it has died. What do I do?
Difficult one.
Well, not really. I mean,
But
it depends on your, it depends on your, what's the word, on your standards, on your morals, on your, what do you want for your life? What do you see as a healthy relationship? What do you want from your partner? I mean, what have you spoken about when you were dating? In the early stages of dating, that's when you set boundaries. That's when you tell each other what you want out of life, out of your relationship. And if this is something that is a no-no, I think you are absolutely right. And I mean, you have to do something about it. Just tell him, listen, I don't accept this kind of behavior. It goes against my values. And I mean, there isn't much more to add here. I mean,
and the reason why I said earlier that it's difficult is because sometimes for us who are outside that particular relationship, we understand that it may be easy and clear for us to see what a decision may be. But for the person involved in the relationship, it's always hard, it's always difficult. Another thing that is important to say as well is that you cannot lead your relationship by what people think is normal. You need to see what is acceptable and what is not. Just because everybody does something doesn't mean that's
right.
okay, or that's going to help your relationship. So if that's something that really grates on you and it's something that you find unacceptable, like Elena said, that's something that goes against your principles, then you need to make that clear, and you need to make a call for that to stop.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't, then you have a tough decision to make.
And you know, for both questions here, you do have, I know what you mean when you say it's not always easy. We are just advising you in what you could do, but the ultimate decision comes from you. But sometimes you do have to be brave and take a step, you know, a step of, you know, call it faith, a step of being brave and changing your life. Because if you turn a blind eye to things, your life will never change. And you will always end up in the same situation.
That's right. Now, of course, as we said, we are in the holiday season. We have sort of like a red umbrella, sort of like a red woolly hat there with the... And remember, if you want to get in touch and send us your questions, you can do that in our Facebook page or our usual email address. And we'd love to hear from you and answer your questions here on the program.
Yes, and you know, it's Christmas, very popular for, you know, getting together with family, having dinner, lunch, and friends. And we know that there will be questions, you know. When people get together and start talking and, oh, you know, what about this? We are here to help you. Email us on questions@lovetalkshow.tv. It will be a pleasure to receive your emails.
That's right. Let's go for a short break. We'll be right back.